I'm going to give you a breakdown of the Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Alpha Omega. Welcome to another video. Before I get into the betting guide for the Monday Night Football matchup between the Seahawks and the 49ers, make sure and head over to my website and sign up for a sports pick package. Through 9 weeks of the season, I'm averaging over 60% winners. And as we enter Week 10, my max unit plays, what I call my wise guy plays, are cashing at 64% for the 2019 NFL season. And I have multiple discounts for an NFL season pass or a college football season pass. Week 10 is going to be another big week in terms of the amount of wise guy plays I will be sending out. So if you're a sports bettor and you want to get my plays for Week 10 and start winning money betting on sports, all you need to do is head over to my website and sign up for a wise guy play package. Remember, this is the busiest time of year for professional sports bettors like myself, as the NFL, college football, the NBA, and college basketball are all in action at the same time, which means a lot of opportunity to make money. And I'll be doing my best to put out more videos in the coming months. And as this channel is also closing in on 100 subscribers, I'm going to make sure and do something to thank everyone for when that happens. Also, if this is your first time here and you want to learn how to bet on sports like a pro and gain an edge over the sports books, start now by subscribing to my YouTube channel and make sure to click the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. There are multiple big games this week as the Rams are taking on the Steelers, the Vikings are taking on the Cowboys, and of course, the Seahawks travel to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. And that made it difficult to decide which game to cover. The rivalry between the Seahawks and the 49ers has cooled in recent years, but in my first few years as a professional bettor, the rivalry was incredibly intense and was one of the must-watch games of the season. I generally don't get a chance to watch the games, partially because I don't like sweating out winners, and partially because I prefer to let the data and my analytics do the talking, but this is a game I would always try to watch because of the intensity of the rivalry. Once Jim Harbaugh left, the rivalry left with him, and so did the majority of the 49ers talent. However, the Kyle Shanahan experiment is finally showing dividends, as the 49ers are surprisingly the only undefeated team left in the NFL. I expected the 49ers to contend in the NFC West division, but the emergence of Nick Bosa is not only the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, but also a contender for Defensive Player of the Year, as well as the entirety of the San Francisco defense coming to fruition, has really been the difference for this 49er team. On the flip side, Russell Wilson is currently the Vegas favorite to win the NFL MVP award, and the Seahawks have continually found a way to win football games. And while I don't like giving all of the credit to the quarterback, in this case, Russell Wilson deserves it, and it's no surprise that he's the favorite to win the MVP. As well, the Seahawks are 7-2 through 9 weeks, with 7 of their 9 games being decided by 7 points or less, which means that the Seahawks have been on the right side of variance so far this season. What I mean is that in coin flip games where the outcome has been decided by 7 points or less, it makes it difficult to upgrade the Seahawks. As I'll discuss momentarily, the point spread in this game does potentially favor the Seahawks given how many of Seattle's games have been close victories. The Alpha Omega Vegas consensus line has the 49ers favored by 6 points, with the total being bet up from the opening number of 44.5 to the current number of 47. Implied odds mean based on the current moneyline odds, what is the projected implied probability of victory? Basically, it's the chances of victory expressed as a percentage. In this case, Vegas is saying the 49ers have a 74% probability of winning the game outright, with the Seahawks having a 30% chance of pulling off the upset. Using my base power rankings, I have the 49ers favored by 7 points with a total of 46. But remember, my base power rankings are only a starting point for your handicap and are not the final numbers I use to make my bets. The 49ers offense has ranged from dominant to efficient depending on the opponent, and undoubtedly San Francisco has played better as the season has progressed. The clearest single reason for the increased success of the 49er offense has to be Jimmy Garoppolo. While Jimmy G hasn't been forced into situations where the game is on his shoulders, the quarterback's 4-touchdown performance in Arizona has shown that he can go out and win with his arm. As I said, the success of the 49er running game is the driving force behind the 49ers' success offensively. The success on the ground can be directly attributed to blocking from the offensive line and skill positions. Tight end George Kittle, fullback Kyle Juszczyk, and left tackle Joe Staley are some of the best blockers at their respective positions, and it's important to consider that both Juszczyk and Staley have been injured, as Staley has missed 6 weeks with a fractured fibula and Juszczyk has been out the last 3 weeks with a sprained MCL. Both are expected to make their return against the Seahawks along with tackle Mike McGlinchey. Their experience and on-field leadership should enhance the ability of the 49er offense to score points, but it should be noted that the 49er offense was successful without the 3 starters, and there is a chance the returning starters may be rusty early in the game. The most unstable aspect of the 49er offense has been the play of the wide receiving core and the lack of separation from defenders. The one bright spot has been wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, acquired from the Denver Broncos, who has caught 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks. The threat that Sanders presents has also taken some of the pressure off tight end George Kittle, with teams being unable to double team the tight end on every play. Although Kittle is currently questionable to play and is trending towards not playing against the Seahawks. The keys for the 49er offense will be the offensive line continuing to open up holes for the 49er running game, giving Jimmy G time in the pocket to throw, and the 49er receiving core stepping up and finding ways to get open. If the 49er offense accomplishes their team goals, San Francisco will cover the spread and win the game. As I've already mentioned, the Seahawks have been narrowly winning games all season, with the Seahawks defense providing little support, ranking as one of the worst overall defenses in the NFL. The pass rush has been non-existent for the most part, and the inexperienced, injury-riddled secondary has consistently given up big plays through the air throughout the season. In the past 2 weeks alone, the Seahawks have surrendered nearly 800 passing yards to Matt Schaub and Jameis Winston. The one bright spot for the Seattle defense has been the 16 combined turnovers generated through 9 weeks, including 9 fumble recoveries, which ranks second overall in the NFL. However, counting on your defense to cause turnovers in order to keep your team defensively competitive is unsustainable, as generating turnovers has been shown to be essentially random from a statistical perspective. As I stated earlier in the video, one of the keys for the 49er defense will be giving Jimmy Garoppolo time in the pocket to throw, and the Seattle defense has been unable to generate consistent pressure all season, ranking toward the bottom of the league in sacks and quarterback pressures. There is no one answer that will fix the Seattle defense. The Seahawks must play better across the board in order to contend with the 49ers in Week 10. The keys for the Seahawks defense will be mixing up and disguising the pass coverage in order to fool the 49er offense, mix up the defensive personnel to increase defensive speed, and finding some way to get pressure on the quarterback. If Seattle accomplishes these team goals, the Seahawks will cover the spread and win the game. Before I continue with the betting guide, if you are enjoying the video and if you feel like you're getting good information that can help you gain an edge over the sportsbooks and make smarter sports wagers, make sure and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated with the latest sports betting content from me, professional sports handicapper Alpha Omega. Also, make sure and click the link in the description of the video, check out my website, and sign up for a sports betting package. I literally break down sports information and make my living based on that information every day. I take all of the sports data I can find, I factor all of that data into mathematical betting models to make my picks, and I send you the same picks that I bet on myself. I have packages for every level of sports bettor, from a beginner who is just coming into the sports betting world to the expert bettor who just needs that extra edge to take them to the next level. Make the smart decision and sign up with a professional today. The San Francisco defense has been the second best defensive unit in the NFL, second only to the Patriots, who, as we all saw, got lit up by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, a winner which I cashed, by the way. Also, check out my video on the Patriots-Ravens game, as there is useful info for sports fans and sports bettors alike. The 49ers lead the NFL in yards allowed per game and rank second in points allowed. The pass rush continues to get to the quarterback, which gives the secondary plenty of chances to force turnovers. The 49er defensive line is certainly one of, if not the best unit in the league, being led by surefire Defensive Rookie of the Year and potential Defensive Player of the Year Nick Bosa's 7 total sacks. To give perspective, in 2018 the 49ers finished with 37 total sacks, and San Francisco already has 30 sacks through 8 weeks. While the 49er linebackers have played very well this season, the loss of Quan Alexander to a pectoral tear that ended his season is a huge loss for the 49er defense, and there will be a noticeable difference in pass coverage moving forward. Another positive for the 49er defense has been the renaissance of cornerback Richard Sherman, who has proved me completely wrong throughout the season. I was way down on Sherman to begin the year. I quite frankly thought he was way past his prime and would end up being a liability to the success of the 49er defense. Sherman leads the 49er secondary with 3 interceptions and is the top-ranked cornerback in terms of opposing passer rating when targeted. In 2018, the 49ers totaled only 2 interceptions. Through 8 weeks in 2019, the 49ers have 10 interceptions. While the turnaround has been impressive, the success of the 49er defense flows through the pressure generated by the defensive line. Defensive line stays healthy. The 49ers defensive line stays healthy opponents defensively. The keys for the 49er defense will be continuing to generate pressure on the quarterback, Nick Bosa continuing to play at an all-pro level, which sets the tone for the entire defense, and the 49ers secondary continuing to take advantage of hurried throws from opposing quarterbacks and turning those mistakes into turnovers. If the 49ers accomplish these goals, San Francisco will cover the spread and easily win the game. The Seahawks offense begins and ends with the play of Russell Wilson. As I have mentioned throughout the video, the Seahawks have forced Wilson to play hero ball all season, and the fact that Russell has risen to the occasion and won the game for the Seahawks over and over again in clutch time is the reason why Wilson is currently the favorite to win the MVP award. While I could spend the entire video talking about how great Russell Wilson has played, the point I want to make is that Russell Wilson gives the Seahawks the chance to beat the undefeated 49ers. There is no defense that can stop Wilson, period. Moving on to the wide receiver Tyler Lockett, the relationship between Lockett and Wilson is another factor for the potential success of the Seahawks offense, not only against the 49ers, but as we move into the latter part of the season and into the playoffs. Look at these stats. It's obvious that the connection between Lockett and Wilson will need to continue against the 49ers. As well, rookie DK Metcalf has thus far been even better than advertised, as Metcalf leads all rookie receivers with 29 catches, 525 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Through 9 games, those numbers put him on pace to be the most productive rookie receiver the Seahawks have had under Pete Carroll, topping Doug Baldwin in 2011 and Tyler Lockett in 2015 in all 3 categories. While the 49ers secondary is excellent, no one on the 49ers can compete with the 4.3 speed Metcalf has. Former Brown and Patriot wide receiver Josh Gordon was claimed off waivers and is expected to play against the 49ers. Don't forget that Gordon is just about as fast as Metcalf with 4.5 speed. This 3-headed monster of Lockett, Metcalf, and now Gordon should be interesting to watch, and the addition of Gordon, if he plays, may be the difference for the Seattle offense. Finally, running back Chris Carson continues to steadily produce for the Seahawks and creates a legitimate rushing threat that forces opposing defenses to honor the run and scheme for Carson. The only issue for Carson is ball security, racking up 2 fumbles against Tampa Bay, and as has been shown, the 49er defense is an elite turnover-causing team, particularly Nick Bosa and the defensive line. Carson will have to hang on to the ball if the Seahawks want a chance of beating the 49ers. The keys for the Seahawks will be Russell Wilson continuing to play at an MVP level, the Seahawk receivers, particularly DK Metcalf, showing up against the 49ers and breaking off some big plays, and the offense as a whole protecting the football and not allowing the 49ers to cause turnovers. If the Seahawks accomplish these team goals, Seattle will cover the spread and win the game. The margin of victory in this game will be determined by the 49er offense continuing to run the football at an elite level, the Seahawk defense finding a way to get pressure on the quarterback, the 49er defense continuing to rush the passer at an elite level, and the Seahawk offense wide receivers getting open and breaking off big plays. Whichever team accomplishes their team goals will cover the spread and win the game. Okay guys, that's the video. Let me know what you think. If you feel like you're gaining information that will help you in your sports betting, or if you have questions, make sure and let me know in the comments. And remember, we are now in week 10 of the 2019 NFL season, and with the accumulation of 9 weeks of data, my NFL analytics and mathematical predictions will have me sending out a lot more of my max unit wise guy plays. In week 10, I will again be sending out multiple wise guy plays to clients. And remember, I bet on all of my own plays. I just place larger bets on my wise guy plays. So if you want to find out what picks I'm betting on and what my wise guy plays are for week 10, make sure and head over to my website and sign up for one of my sports packages. And remember, I have sports packages for every type of sports bettor. Whether you're an everyday bettor who wants that extra edge to help you cash more winners, or you're just getting started into sports betting and you want to find out how to make money betting on sports, make sure to click the link in the description of the video, head over to my website and sign up for a package now. And if you want to stay updated with all the latest sports betting guides across all major sports, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.